Rent is throwing money away. You've heard it your whole life. It might be the most repeated line in personal finance. It's also bait, and I can prove it. Because I live in San Francisco where buying a home has never beaten renting in over 30 years. Not once. I've run the math. And here's the embarrassing part. I still want to buy. That's how strong this pull is. This is the largest transaction of your life. One signature moves more money than every other financial decision you'll make combined. And almost every reason you've been given to say yes is a trap. Today, 3 of them. And by the end, why I might walk into them anyway. On purpose. Trap 1. Dead money. Rent is dead money. It builds you nothing. True, but that line has a job. To stop you from asking the obvious question. Does buying build you something? Or does it hide where the money goes? Because owning burns money too. More of it. In 2 piles you never see. The first pile is quiet and it never stops. Take a house that's fully paid off. You still owe property tax and upkeep every year. Call it 2% of its value. On a $500,000 home, that's 10 grand a year. Forever. Paid off and still bleeding. The second pile is loud and it's the worst at the start. 20% down, borrow $400,000 at 6.5%. Your first payment is about $2,500. Guess how much is actually yours? About $360. The rest is interest. Rent you pay the bank instead of a landlord. And it's front-loaded. In year 1, 85 cents of every dollar is interest. I'm building equity. It's mostly a feeling for years. Now stack the 2 piles. The interest is heaviest at the start. And the start is exactly when people move. So the line that scared you out of renting walks you straight into the years where owning burns the most. You didn't escape throwing money away. You traded to a bigger pile and called it ownership. And that's if you stay. Most people don't stay as long as they think, which is the second trap. Trap 2. Stability. No landlord, no lease renewal, nobody can make you move. True. And it's the most seductive one. Because it isn't about money. It's about safety. Roots, a door that's yours. But flip it over. The thing that makes a home feel stable is the thing that traps you when your life moves. It's brutally expensive to get out of. Buying a place and selling it again costs about 9%. Agents, taxes, title. On a $500,000 home, that's $45,000. For a lot of people, a year of take-home pay. Just to get in the door and back out. So the price has to climb 45 grand before owning even breaks even with renting. And here's the part that should scare the careful buyer, not the reckless one. Almost nobody buys planning to leave in 3. You buy planning to stay 10. Then year 3, the job offer comes. The one you can't say no to, 2 states away. Or the second kid arrives and the office becomes a nursery and the house that fit doesn't. Or your dad's health turns and suddenly you need to be closer. Nobody plans for these. Everybody gets one. And 10 becomes 5. Sell then and the market can be up while you still walk away with less than you put in. You didn't buy stability, you sold your flexibility at a price that was never on the sticker. The trap doesn't catch the flipper. It catches the person who was sure they'd stay long enough and found out life had other plans. So the math is brutal at the start and life is unpredictable in the middle. Then why do smart people keep signing? Because the third trap isn't math at all. Trap 3. This one isn't a number you tell yourself. It's the one everyone else keeps telling you. Your mother-in-law keeps asking when you're finally going to buy. Your closest friends just did. The photos are everywhere. It feels like everyone you grew up with owns a place but you. That's the American dream. Except, somewhere along the way, it stopped being a dream and became a scoreboard. Own and you made it. Rent and you're behind. That pressure is real. I feel it too. But strip the story away, and a home isn't a trophy. It's just an asset you happen to live in. And for most families, it isn't one asset among many. It's the bulk of everything they own. Around half their net worth locked in one house on one street. Want to know who keeps the least of their wealth in their home? The people who actually got rich. For the top 1%, it's under 15%. For the richest, as low as 4. So the scoreboard everyone's chasing, the people who won the game, keep the least of their money in it. Now notice all 3 traps do the same thing. They take something true, Rent builds nothing, owning is stable, owning is the dream, and use it to stop you from doing that one piece of honest math. So here's where you expect me to say, don't buy, renting wins, roll credits. I'm not going to say that. Because every one of those traps is really a warning about buying short or buying blind. Stay a long time at a price that isn't insane, and time flips all three. The 9% to get out, over 20 years, it's almost nothing. That front-loaded interest, by the back half, most of your payment is finally yours. And the payment never moves. It's frozen for 30 years while rent keeps climbing. At 3.5% a year, the rent you pay today doubles in 20. Inflation quietly pays your mortgage down in cheaper dollars. Stay long enough and you own it free and clear. And in retirement, your housing cost drops to almost nothing, while the renter still writes a check that grows every year. That's a real case for buying. It just has conditions, long and not wildly overpriced. Meet them and the math stops fighting you. And then there's the part no spreadsheet can price. Those 20 years aren't a holding period. They're the life. The kids growing up in one house, one school, the doorframe where you mark their height, right until they leave for college. The immigrant in me wants that more than anything. Math was never going to talk me out of it. And when the hold is long and the price is fair, the math isn't even arguing. So here's all I'm asking. Be honest about which story you're in. Staying a long time at a fair price? Buy. The numbers and feeling finally agree. Buying for a few years or paying double what you'd rent because the pressure got to you? That can still be worth it. Just call it what it is. Don't dress a feeling as an investment. Pay for it on purpose, eyes open, because you decided it was worth it. And me? I told you I'd still want to buy, in the one city where the math never works. I know exactly which traps are waiting. I might walk in anyway. But I'll be walking in with my eyes open, because I decided the feeling was worth it. Not the pressure, not the scoreboard, not some hollow slogan. That's all I want for you.